Okay, why is
You
it
guys can
counting?
keep just talking
Why
normally.
is it counting?
I'm just making sure it goes live.
Making sure my phone doesn't detonate.
Oh
But
man,
no,
Yeah,
my new boat shows up. I guess technically tomorrow it shows up.
nice.
So we'll
I'm
see.
excited
Hey,
about running
Arkansas.
still.
Oh, I'm gonna watch this live on YouTube.
Don't do
See if we can't get it to bounce back and forth.
Oh, it won't work. Yep, testing, testing. This is the first time I've used it with 3 people on live stream here. So, what's up, AJ? We'll see how it works. I thought it would be I thought it'd be similar to like our screen, but I'm looking at the live right now and it's like it's not quite our screen. It's like whoever's talking kind of bumps around. What's up?
Oh, there's probably
What's
an
up,
adjustment you
Chase?
can make that not do that.
Maybe. I just haven't played around with it enough to know what's up. What's going on, boys? What's up, Tate? We are about to do a live stream. I got the Iowa boys, which I just started calling you that. You know, it's like first I had the Michigan boys, and that's my buddies, the Kevins, and now
The
they're like the
Kevins.
Kevins. I've called them Killer Cavs before. You know, I'm big on the nicknames, but you guys just ended up being the Iowa boys. So
Yeah.
I just need to know if you guys like it or not.
Nah.
Been called worse. So
What's
This is
up,
true.
Jim?
hey,
What's up,
speaking of
Mr. Bo?
Hunter, did you remember the day that we had a group set like 75 yards from us?
Mm-hmm.
How
You
could
remember
we
that?
forget?
No, not the hunt with you, Jordan. They were closer.
Oh,
No, that's not
You know what I'm
closer.
talking about, Jordan or Hunter?
You
yeah.
That day
mean
we were in the
7? Do you
marsh.
mean 60 yards then?
They were like our decoys were touching basically.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's the same spread.
I found out from that day that apparently I made bad blood with someone that I don't even know. And they're like, yeah, this guy was just yelling across the marsh. He has those stupid stickers all over his truck. And someone goes, oh, you talking about Tim? And they go, yeah, that guy. Screw him. And I was like, I don't even
Screw
know you. I
Tim.
wasn't the one yelling.
Yep.
Wait, so was I the one yelling that got you the
Yes,
bad
you were the
rep?
one yelling that got me. I'm the douchebag in Iowa now. Thanks, bud.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, I'm gonna find like I feel like they should put the share stream button somewhere on this, but I don't see it anywhere. So
Mm. Oh, you were gonna like share it onto the Facebook page.
I was doing my taxes today. You think I should probably close this out before I
Nope.
accidentally open
Leave
them
him out
on
and
stream?
show him to the
I have
group.
my bank account open and the taxes.
Hey,
Let's
make
close
sure your
this real
routing
quick.
number's in there too somewhere.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's up, guys? We're getting a roll call. Apparently, everyone's saying what state they're from. We got Nebraska, North
They don't
Dakota.
kill birds. They don't kill birds there either.
North Dakota, worst waterfowl state I've ever been to. Just kidding. That place is the promised land. So give me a second. I'm gonna find the stream, and then
Oh yeah,
we'll
Hunter. So now we are going back to
keep going.
Oklahoma in January.
Mm-hmm.
But now the outfitter has limited us to taking 9 guys. So we're trying to figure out which guy's not going to make the cut.
Oh boy.
That's
Someone's
fun.
gonna have hurt feelings.
Oh yeah. Luckily, a couple guys, like as soon as they heard that, they kind of bowed out right away.
Mm.
I was like, oh, thank God. But now we got to cut one person.
Mm.
Yeah. The duck hunting guy doesn't want to hunt more than 5 in a field. So
Well, so you went from having to hunt 20 in a field to 5?
yeah. Well, the guy that wants to hunt ducks, he doesn't want any more bigger than 5.
That's why. Nice.
What'd he
But the
say?
deuce.
Oh, because we said North Dakota is a terrible waterfowl state.
Definitely don't come to Iowa then. We bring too much attention here. We're liable not to be able to buy a license this year.
Facts. I'm gonna be real pissed on opening day at Teal. There's 400 boats at the ramp.
We found some other spots, I guess.
So
We
some
did.
people don't like in the fellowship when I tag everybody.
Yeah, can you
Mhm.
stop tagging at everybody? Come on, grow up. I
No,
saw that comment
I
today. I
can't.
kind of laughed.
So
What's up with the at everybody? It's getting old.
I'm just gonna keep doing it.
I think you should do it hourly just so his phone goes
I
off
did. I
every
did it
hour.
twice today. I will say that is excessive. So I'm sorry.
What'd you do earlier that you added everybody?
I saw two. I didn't see what the second one was for.
The first one. Well, this is the second one. The first one was for the Patreon group. So
Oh, yeah, the hats, right?
right.
Okay, yeah.
Also,
Okay.
you're not getting one of those cool hats, Hunter. Suck it.
Man.
All right. So, maybe we should go ahead and start with the recording of the podcast. So
Okay.
everybody that is here from the live stream, actually, yeah, this is bugging me, the setup on the live stream where our screens are. So I'm not sure if I can change it. I'm gonna try real quick. If I can, then great. If I can't, then like whatever, then we'll just go with it.
Mhm.
So then we'll
Give
go.
it a quick Google search.
No, I'm not giving a quick Google search. Oh, whatever. We're just gonna roll with it because I don't see it obvious, and I don't want to bore the people sitting in the chat. So, anyways, guys, we're gonna be talking about the duck hunting season over there in Iowa, and you guys giving a little bit of a rundown. You guys had a great season, both of you guys. So, yeah, and I guess other places you guys did hunt other places too. So, let's go ahead with recording all that. So here we go.
Hey guys, I'm Jordan Fromer. I believe in hunting hard, hunting smart, and having a fun time while doing it. And shooting limits, well, that's just the icing on the cake. I revel in the journey just as much as the successes it brings. From ducks to dogs to decoys and guns, we'll be talking tactics, strategies, and what it takes to get the job done. Load up and take aim. This is the Duck Gun Podcast.
What's going on, folks? Thanks for joining me on another episode of the Duck Gun Podcast. I'm Jordan from Duck Gun Chronicles, and we are live for another podcast. Tonight, I have my good buddies, the Iowa Boys, as they are known far and wide as. We got Tim and Hunter. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing pretty good.
Well.
Doing good. Not all at once.
Yeah. I was waiting for Tim, and then Tim was waiting on me.
Nice. So this is fun. If you guys are just listening to this on the podcast, whether it's Apple, anywhere it's at, it's all over the place. But I've started doing some live streams again of the podcast on my YouTube channel, Duck Gun Chronicles. So if you're in the Fellowship of the Duck Gun, you'll get the notifications. If you're on the YouTube channel, you get the notifications there too. So jump over there and join us live for a podcast, or just keep listening on iTunes. Either way, but yeah. So you guys got any updates? What you're up to right now? I mean, postseason.
I'm up to a lot like normal. I actually just got back last night from a banquet for truck pulling. A lot of people don't know I'm big into like diesel trucks, stuff like that. I ended up second in points in one club and seventh in a different.
Nice.
So I'm pretty excited. Parts, more stuff to put on the truck, make more power, break more stuff.
There you go. Good stuff. How about you, Tim? What you up to?
I am fishing and crow hunting right now. Crow season's open till end of March, and I didn't realize how much fun it was until I started doing it this year. They're about as dumb as teal. So,
Do they taste as good?
no, haven't tried them yet. Nope, not doing that.
Yeah,
They look.
from what I've
They're
heard, they're not really eaters, but
they can't have much meat on them. I can't imagine. There's like nothing to them. Like they look like big birds, but there's literally nothing to those things. But so we've been doing that, and that's kind of fun.
nice. So as far as like off season goes, there's different people, like typical hunters, right? There's hunters that's off season, and they just kind of hunting season's over, don't worry about it anymore, on to the next thing. And then there's the guys that kind of fall into, maybe a little bit of duck depression, or the guys that like add it a countdown on their Facebook page, like literally the day after season ends. Where do you guys fall in that category?
I mean, I fall in the countdown and like the always getting stuff and always trying to improve. I mean, I've told you about some of my other projects for the off season. I'm trying to build a trailer to like have all my boats on one trailer so I can just kind of roll and then go wherever I want to and be able to hunt however I want to. So that's a big project for the off season I've already started working on. And then of course, always looking for gaps in gear and getting hooked up.
How about you, Tim?
So I do, well, I wasn't going to, but I'm back at it again this summer. I play competitive softball at a pretty high level. Um, wasn't gonna do it this year. Decided I'll give it one more go. I had a team pick me up out of Chicago. So I'm doing that again, and then this is the year of all the blind draws. So on the Mississippi River here, we've got two different areas that draw for blinds, and it's kind of quote unquote private hunting unless you're not in your blind, basically. So that's the year that if we get a blind, we are building new river blinds this year. So we've got that to
Nice.
look forward to middle
Yeah.
of summer.
Yeah, there's always projects to do, and it's Chicago, man. That's a little bit of a haul for you, right?
We don't even get a play in Chicago. We're driving all over the United
Oh,
States.
gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, we'll be all over Florida,
Nice.
Texas, you name it.
So that'll keep you kind of preoccupied. You won't be thinking about duck hunting as much during your.
It definitely
off-season.
keeps your mind off it for a while.
Yep. Nice. Yep. Man, I'll say before I had kids, I feel like I was always kind of thinking about duck hunting, like counting down the days, and more like I feel like summer activities I can kind of uh, I'll take that time to be more family time than just like 100% like thinking about duck hunting all the time. But I'm always with what I do, podcasts, YouTube videos. It's always part of my day, if not my week, if not just always on the mind. So which I'm glad for that because I really do enjoy the waterfowl hunting and everything else that brings along with it. So
Yeah. I mean, like I already have probably 50 to 100 pens on Onyx that I have to go check out with my boat that I haven't got to last year because we're supposed to have more water this spring. So I want to try to open up, see where that's going to bring for our water. I know. Like I said, I'm going to be working on it all summer. I'll be going out with the dog pretty much every day, running hunt scenarios, running out of the blinds, trying to figure stuff out.
Yep. Awesome. So true or false? Iowa's the new Arkansas.
False.
False.
I've never been to Arkansas, so I would say false, but
Probably false.
false.
It's I think the thing we're missing is flooded timber.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing is also is that we happen to be on a pretty good location for waterfowl hunting. Like if you go
Yes,
on the
right.
other side, like the other side of the state on the Missouri River has some good hunting. The central part of the state, decent goose hunting, not really so much duck, but like we're kind of on the main flyway, It's kind of unfair to be like,
Sure.
oh, the whole state.
But like to be fair, like to get to either river, like if you live in the center, it's not like it's that far, right?
Nah,
Like,
3.5
if you live in-
hours.
It's like a 3 hour, yeah, 3.5 hours from Des Moines.
So it's like
but
6
Des Moines
hours
also,
wide. Is Iowa like 6 hours
Yeah.
wide for driving?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so that makes it a little bit further. I was
and
thinking
it is
maybe
a
it was like
boring
2 hours.
6 hours, just so you're aware.
Right. So if you're in like
It's
the
not
middle
fun.
hour, it's a little rough. If you get outside of that, then you maybe have some opportunities. It's like because I'll drive hour and a half easy every weekend without blinking. Right.
Yeah.
There's definitely further you can go. I can go 3.5 hours and have some really cool stuff, but I don't want to do that every weekend. So I can understand like if you're like in the middle of the state, you might it's probably a little bit rougher than being closer to one of the edges where you got a pretty good flyway. So I do feel like the further west you go, and you guys are like really far west in the Mississippi Flyway. So
Yeah.
I will say Des Moines has quite a few, like, not to hotspot Des Moines, but like Des Moines is smack dab in the middle of our state. And for whatever reason, they do hold quite a few. I mean, not just geese, but ducks too. They have actually quite a bit of water there.
So pretty much
usually.
the whole state's good. I got it. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Confirmed the new Arkansas.
Yeah. The other problem with like a lot of the state in Iowa is that if it's not along like the Mississippi or the Missouri rivers, the WMAs don't get pumped a lot of the times if like the water level's low. So for like the last 2 years, there's been like 5 or 6 pretty big wildlife management areas that just have been dry. You could drive a truck across them. And it's
Yeah.
just, it sucks that that's the way it's been for the last year or two. But, when they're not next to a huge river to pump out of, they just don't have the option.
Definitely. Yeah. So real quick, we're going to get a word from our partners before we jump into the main meat of the podcast. But before we do that, I want you guys to give a little bit of tease with, let's hear your harvest numbers for the year.
Hold on.
Well, I'll start because I know mine offhand. I almost doubled my previous best year to date with 227 waterfowl and then 15 dove, and I averaged just over 4 birds per hunt. So I had just an amazing year.
Nice. Yeah. So Sam, again, just the numbers.
It was
Ducks and geese.
200 ducks and geese. Yeah, it was like 227 if I remember right, plus the 15.
Okay. Well, I guess I meant separately.
Oh, I don't know what my separate was for ducks and geese.
Like were you like 26 geese?
That's probably something like that. Probably pretty close. 20.
Did you hit 200
geese.
ducks?
No, I think I was short. I think I was like 191, high 190s for ducks.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's an excellent season for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't give Tim notice, so I can see he's off the app.
I'm doing it right now. Sorry. So total harvested, and again, these numbers are skewed because of my late season trip. I total harvest was 251. Oh wait, nope, I gotta take 15 dove off of that. So
236.
Yep, 236. Thanks. So I had 236. Total birds per hunt was 5.9. Oh, I'm back. There we go.
There you go. That's awesome, man.
That's hands down my best season I've had, but it was also, those numbers are skewed because of a really, really good opportunity I had late season.
Sure, yeah.
So,
yeah, we can definitely hit up all that. But no, that's I mean, those are definitely 2 outstanding seasons. I know you guys hunted quite a bit together and quite a bit separately, but yeah, there's definitely a lot we can dive into that. So we'll do that. But real quick, get a quick word from our partners, and we'll jump right into it. So first off, I'd like to give a big thanks to you guys, the listeners, the viewers, the supporters of the Duck Gun podcast and Duck Gun Chronicles. Guys, if you haven't heard yet, you're hearing it now. I started a new Patreon group. It's patreon.com/Duck Chronicles. We're going to be doing a hunt giveaway again this year. I have no idea where we're going to be going. We'll figure that out once I draw a winner. But what we've done in the past is I help with getting you out to where we're going to go. I don't know what that dollar amount's going to be yet, but last year we were able to help the guy who came from Oregon and buy his plane ticket. So that was a big plus from the Patreon group. So we got him out to hunt with us, and it was awesome. So there's other cool stuff over there, exclusive content, early access, that kind of stuff. So jump over there and check it out. Also like to give a big thanks to onX. Guys, onX is the best app out there for the waterfowl hunter. You're able to see property boundaries. You're able to see landowners, their tax address. You can find them, knock on doors, get that permission, mark pins, all kinds of stuff. I mean, we used it when we were in Iowa, driving in the dark through vegetation. We wouldn't be able to find the path any other way. There's just countless ways that a waterfowl hunter can use the app onX. So check it out. Also like to give big thanks to FA. Guys, FA is the one-stop shop for the duck hunter. They got camo, they got waders, they got decoys. That's all I used last year, and their stuff definitely passed the test for everything. You know, it was just great. So I think one of my favorite products was the waterfowl backpack. I say it all the time, but that thing was legit for walk-ins. Tons of room for gear. But anyways, there's tons of things you can check out over there. You can either go to the Rogers website or Final Approach. Also like to give big thanks to Weatherby. Guys, I ran the Weatherby 18i and 20 gauge and 12 gauge last year. And those are some great steps that Weatherby has taken to have an awesome waterfowl gun. I'll stand behind it. It was a great gun for me. Just shooting that 20 gauge, just from the first time I shouldered it, man, it was like it was meant to be. Just knocking birds down left and right. So check them out over there. And also, guys, make sure you check out Motion Ducks. Motion Ducks helps with those no-win days. Guys, I don't even fear those no-win days anymore. This used to be in the past. I'd look at the weather, the forecast, and be like, man, no-win day, we're screwed. We're not going to shoot birds. And if we do, then they're going to be passing shots. We're not going to be finishing birds right in the hole. But this last year, man, I made it a point to use that Motion Ducks with small spreads on no-win days, getting tons of lifelike motion in my spread. It's like a jerk rig on steroids, and it did the job. I think I hunted more this season with like a 5 to 7 duck spread with that Motion Ducks than I ever had before, and it was just great. Alrighty, let's go ahead and jump back into. Oh, I forgot to say, Motion Ducks use code DuckGun2020 over there, and you'll get the discount and help you out in your purchase over there. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump in today's podcast. Alrighty, so back to the topic at hand here. I feel like I have to prefix this every time. But guys, numbers aren't the end all be all, but it is a good gauge for us as hunters to gauge like how successful we were through the season, how successful different tactics were, how good the season was, whether it's the migration or weather or population or whatever. It's just a data point. And I think, also as hunters, we like to challenge ourselves to be better hunters. So when you have a record season, which actually I had a record season too. So I don't know if that's just we all hunted harder or if there's some kind of underlying difference in this year compared to others. But I do think that we did have a good season for that. But it's kind of mixed because I've heard mixed reviews from people. So yeah. Do you guys have any input on that?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people in our area that like claim they didn't do very well this year. I think that most of like my personal success came from being more mobile and like having more options. One of the big things I remember from our first podcast that we did, I remember you titled it like "Don't Get Married to the Boat." And like this year, we definitely hunted way, way less out of the boats than we had in the past. Not saying boat blinds are bad, just we hunted out of them less, switched up some of the tactics and stuff. And I think it really benefited us. And then the other thing is we did a lot more scouting and hunting different areas that we hadn't like previously hunted, rather than trying to pattern one area to a T and then get 5 good days out of it. We spread it out a little bit more.
Definitely. Yeah, I think there's, I can't remember what we talked about on this podcast. I go through so many podcasts. It's like, it's hard to remember everything we said, but it's like kind of touching on the boat blinds there. It's a great tool to have, and there's situations where they work great, and there's situations where it's like you might have a better option. So, because from my experience, I feel like you might be able to finish them closer without, but sometimes there's no other hide, right? You're out in the water. Maybe it's too deep. Maybe it's a muck bottom. Maybe you're off the shore, whatever, and you're able to make do, and that is your best option. So, but you guys probably hunting boat blinds. No, not probably. You guys hunting boat blinds way more than I have. So I'm sure you got a better take on it, but it is interesting to kind of hear you say that. And I think there's one YouTube video this year, early season, where I said I'm never hunting out of a boat blind again. You guys saw that, and you had it in your mind. You're gonna convince me otherwise, but and then we hunted your guys' Central opener and out of a boat blind, and we did pretty good. So there is some give and take to all of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like the boat blinds are definitely nice. The real benefit to them is when we get like late in the year and we're out there and it's 4 degrees out, and I can pop the blind up, put a heater in it, and be warm. Like that's the big benefit to a boat blind. And a lot of like our river blinds around here are just brushed up like a big pile of brush, and so the birds see that quite a bit. So I don't think the boat blinds nearly like stick out as bad as in other places because they're just kind of used to being around them. And those river blinds don't get hunted every day all the time. And so birds still fly into them, and then they're not scared of them at all. They're not like spooked by them.
Right. Yeah, definitely. You got any thoughts on that, Tim? Are you a boat blind? Are you a boat blind guy? Or are you a different hide?
Well, what has it been, Hunter? Now this is my
Fourth?
third year that we just got through, going on 4 now, of I will have a different blind on my boat for the 4th straight year this year. Because I cannot figure out what kind of boat hide I like. Um, I guess there's no perfect boat hide or boat blind. But yeah, this will be my 4th straight year where I am building another blind.
Permanent
Because
blind or what?
I think I'm going back to permanent blind. I really liked the permanent blind I had 2 years ago, but it just wasn't exactly what I wanted. Last year I used the beaver tail blind. Super, you can get around, but come late season, it was useless because it froze.
So it's like
Um,
permanent blind. Is that going to take away some of your speed and some of your
no,
ability to
oh
get
no,
out
no,
there?
no, no, no. We're building it out of aluminum, bud. It'll be light.
It just seems like a lot. You know, it's you can't
Yep.
be as aerodynamic. I mean,
It'll be light enough for me to be able to pick up off the boat by myself, fully
okay,
brushed.
gotcha.
We usually build them out of. The last one I built was out of basically aluminum sheets with aluminum framing.
Yeah,
But we'll probably build this one out of aluminum framing and then
man,
put Cargyle plastic on
I
it.
wish I lived a little closer because that sounds like it'd be a fun one to film for the YouTube channel.
I'll take pictures. I'll send them to you because it'll be a process. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. You can post them over there in the fellowship too. Be cool to see
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I think we went through 2 or 3 iterations on my dad's boat, which has a hard aluminum sided blind on that before we got to the one that it's got. And it's kind of the point where it's not great, but like it's not worth the effort to redo it. It just
Sure.
doesn't get used enough to really justify it. So
Yeah,
we'll stick with it.
yeah. So I don't know. Did you guys answer like Tim? You give an answer on
I forgot the original question.
we took a few rabbit trails here and there, but the original question is you had your best season ever, right? And like what was it that caused that?
Um, for me personally, I expanded my horizon. So I've hunted a lot. When I first started hunting, hunted a little bit here and there with some groups, just trying to get my feet wet. And then over the last 2 years, Hunter and I have been hunting a lot together. And towards the end of this season, usually it was like, well, if we didn't know where birds were, we'll just go to like a spot that we kind of think birds might be, but we were kind of lazy towards the end of the season usually. And this year that wasn't the case. Is we kind of broadened our friend or group, I guess, that we hunt with or talk about hunting, and we were able to get on birds basically all season. Um, if that was rather scouting or having people scout and telling us, hey, that we're going here, there's birds here, type thing.
Mhm.
Nice.
I think I only had one skunk this year, and I think it was you and I were together. I think
Yeah, I had 3 skunks this year, but yeah, we did have one skunk, but it
that
shouldn't have
one
been a
skunk.
skunk. That
It should
was,
not have been a skunk, but it was.
yeah, it was.
Did you have a skunk in teal season when I was out there?
The
Or did we
the
shoot
last
one?
day.
I
Or did
can't
we get?
remember because I
I
was
think we got
laying
one on the last day.
I was laying face down in the bottom of
I
the
was
boat
gonna say
trying not
you
to throw
you
up.
were not doing well.
Yeah.
I know I didn't shoot any that day.
I think
Yeah, I
John
think
shot one that day.
Yeah, I think I had 3 skunks this year, and the one that I had with Tim was rough. That was a rough shooting day. It was bad. It was really bad. We had plenty of opportunity. It just didn't work, mainly because I suck at shooting.
Correction. Hunter had plenty of opportunity. I didn't pull the
Yeah.
trigger on my gun.
Yeah, it was horrible. But that was hunting a new spot, hunting in layout blinds on a mud bottom. It was kind of hard. We were trying something new and learning curve.
Yeah. Was there I already know kind of answer to this for you, Hunter, but was there anything new that you guys tried as far as like new techniques or new techniques, strategies, whatever you want to call it, for your hunting this year that you guys implemented?
I finally got Hunter in a layout blind. So
Yeah.
he'd never been in a layout blind till this year. So we use those quite a bit actually.
Not as cool as an A-frame, but whatever it
eh,
takes to hide,
they each
right?
have their place.
Yeah, that's
But
true. But I feel like those are like interchangeable.
I would agree up until if you would have hunted with. Okay, we'll show you when you come back. There's this spot. I don't think you can get away with an A-frame. There's no vegetation, and it's like a mud flat that's just got some grass on it. So when we put our layouts on it, like that was the one spot where like you may get away with an A-frame there if you don't move, but having layouts it just concealed you completely. Like they couldn't tell we were there. But
Yeah, that was a
Only
dirty hide.
only guys from Iowa will say that boat binds the birds don't care about, but layouts are better than
fair
A-frames.
enough.
Yeah, but like that's a weird spot though, because it's like a mud flat, and then it's only like 3 or 4 inches of water, and so it's real skinny water, and so like, well, you can never. I mean, I'd hunt out my boat blind if I could hide it back there, but no, just the A-frame or the layout blinds worked way better back in
Then
that spot.
Than a A-frame.
Yeah, I think
Did you
the
try an
problem.
A-frame, or is that just like what your guess is?
Well, the problem with the A-frame is that it's got a bank line that's like 75 yards behind you. And so if you put that bank, if you had the water where you could put the A-frame in the bank line, you'd be good to go. But otherwise, you have the bank line and then you have your A-frame right out there by the water. And like, there's no way to really put it where it's not the way the birds fly into it. They would always be frame.
So it just sounds like you didn't brush it enough.
Easier to
just giving
brush
you a
in
hard time.
layouts.
I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm a huge proponent of A-frames. Like this is how I would be with anybody, because I just think A-frame's always better than a layout. Whether it's true or not, that's just my opinion. But I won't ever find out because I'm just going to keep hunting out of the A-frame. And it doesn't. I mean, it seems to do pretty well. I guess my to make my point on it, it's like if we brush an A-frame all the way in and put it in a snow field that it's just white and just snow everywhere, so it's like even flat, no difference in the terrain around it. I live in northern Indiana and like hunt in southern Michigan too, so it's like those places are extremely flat, right? So we have the snow extremely flat, and then an A-frame that is just covered in brown grass. Doesn't even match, right? But as long as that is completely brushed in, I mean, we'll finish birds every day of the week. So, I don't know. So
I
that's kind of my
honestly don't. I don't think it has anything to do with like what you're hunting out of. I went down to Oklahoma this year, and I am telling you, we hunted an A-frame with 26 people, and we were in the middle of a field on a
right,
water hole. And as long as you don't move, the birds would finish.
right.
It's all about movement. If you don't have people moving, you can finish birds, and you could probably sit there and like behind cow fences or like hay bales. As long as you're not moving and they can't see you move, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, sure,
It's all about concealing your movement.
right. Yeah, that comes into the brushing it. So
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
which I'm sure shadow plays into it a little bit too, depending on the day, where you have a sunny day or a cloudy day, or that all too. So with how you have it brushed in. So, but yeah, but what I was trying to hit on, kind of circling back around here, Hunter, you're telling me the other day over Marco that you're hunting out of a muskrat hat. So I wanna hear a little bit about that again.
So I found a spot this year that was just dirty with mallards. I mean, it was just disgustingly full of mallards every day. And the problem is it's all like that same type of lily pads. I think you call them lotus, American lotus. So it's that same height, but it was late in the year, so it was all broke off and it was real thin, and you couldn't do nothing with it. And it was only about 3 inches of water. And I've hunted layout boats before, and I didn't currently have one during the season. Fix that now, but so I decided to try. I had a floating muskrat hut blind, and so it's brushed up to just look like a muskrat hut because in this like same patch there's a bunch of muskrat huts, and I sat in that thing, and very difficult to hunt out of, but it worked.
Yeah, explain what it is, because I don't think like I have seen them a little bit here and there, but I don't think most people know like what a muskrat hut is as far as the type of blind.
So like there's two styles of them. There's like a Muskrat Hut brand one that has like a seat and it's an inner tube, and then it just has like a dome that you pretty much sit in that you can see through that gets brushed in. And mine is actually like a donut that has a float all the way around the bottom, and then I sit in the center of it in a marsh stool. And then I can look around it, and then the top like flips open just like a shooting door on any other like pit blinds like typically have like a door like that, and you just sit inside of it, and it's brushed in to look like a muskrat hut. I mean, it works, but they're a pain.
Yeah, I mean that had to be some super cool hunts. You're telling me you had like birds, finishing super close, and I feel like more than it used to be for me. Like that's it, right? Mallards finishing real close. They don't even know you're there till you pop up. Whether it's like for me, I think the closest I had birds finish this year. I definitely had some hunts where we're just hunting out of cattails, but then like late season too, um, on the river where it's just like frozen. They don't have many options. You're just sitting there up against a log with snow everywhere, and they're just landing at 10 yards. And so yeah, you're kind of go into that with yours a little bit.
Yeah, so like the same thing happened. I actually had one morning that was like really, really foggy, and I set the spread, and then I walked far enough away from the spread that I could barely see the spinner with my flashlight. And I was like, oh, I'm plenty far away when the sun rises, everything else. Well, the sun rose, and the spinner was literally so close I could tap it with the butt of my gun. Like it was like less than 5 yards away from the blind. And I
Oh,
was like,
wow.
all right, well, let's just see how this works. And that morning, I actually ended up having a bird land between me and the spinner, and it was so close that I like couldn't shoot at it, and it came in real low, and I didn't see it. And by the time I popped it up, like the awkwardness of the blind, I just couldn't get a shot. But it was,
Right.
I mean, they were close. They were close. But they're used to landing next to those muskrat huts and stuff. They pose no problem to them.
Nice. So you brush that in with cattails then, or
No, so I used a base layer raffia when I like brushed it into my basement. So I put like the Joseph Stern raffia grass. That's like my go-to
yeah,
base layer on stuff. And then when I got out there, if you look at like muskrat huts, it's like the root end of like all the plants. And so when I got out there, I actually was right next to a muskrat hut, or like I pulled it up next to a muskrat hut, took some of those root ends and just put it around it just to make it the same color, and then pushed it. Yeah, I went 50 yards away from the closest muskrat hut and set it up.
nice. There you go. Tim,
But
you have any hunts to rival that this year?
Nope. I was not sitting in a muskrat hut.
yeah,
I did find out that sitting in a layout boat trying to shoot divers is not easy.
Yeah,
oh,
You can't see them come in, and then you realize when you set up you can only swing one way.
right.
And I think the birds realized that because they all flew the other way.
And I got
That
a
was
feeling,
not easy.
guys like you and me probably can't sit up as quick as Hunter could.
I am actually, so that's one thing Hunter will attest to. I've grown up hunting out of layout blinds. I love hunting out of a layout, and I'm a really good shot out of them, and I can get up quick. But yeah, that whole layout boat thing, that's a whole nother animal.
Yeah.
I could get up quick and get on them, but you don't have any movement. Like, you move too fast and you're going to tip the thing over, I feel like.
Oh man. Yeah.
But
I've only done it once. I did it out on Saginaw Bay in Michigan, on one of those like what they call them, like the UFO
yep.
layouts, and I mean it was wavy. Like it wasn't wavy enough that like water was splashing in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, from that was the only time I had. Maybe it was like beginner's luck, but I felt like it was pretty easy to shoot them. So I don't know. I mean,
no, it
I
was.
think I told you guys this, but I shot a triple on Old Squall out of
Oh
it.
my.
So.
Jeez.
No.
But I mean, and I shot quite a few lawn darts too. So
Yeah, no, that was another thing we did this year. Is we actually, I got an open water layout boat for when we hunt the divers in our area, and that was a huge learning curve. Wasn't super successful using it, but like we didn't real. I guess I should specify that, but like saying like we didn't try real hard to be successful with it. We tried to learn how to use it more so. Like we went out with it, and I only shot one shell. I was happy with it as long as we were able to set everything up safely and do all that. So it was more of like picking times to learn how to do it, which
yeah,
we're gonna add here because I love shooting divers.
oh yeah, that's your thing, going for
Mhm.
the old canvas back.
Yep. The old king.
Yeah, but you I think you told me this year you went after the mallards a little bit longer than you normally do.
Yeah, we had some fields this year that were producing pretty heavy, and some fields that I had never had permission to hunt on in the past, and so we got permission this year on them. And I mean, like they were real heavy producers for us, and so it was kind of hard to step away from flocks of 50 to 75 mallards coming in at a time. It's kind of hard to step away from awesome hunts like that.
Yeah, Yeah, I understand that for sure, but it's
Jordan,
definitely
did we ever send you the videos after duck season of we had probably 300 mallards landing on top of Hunter and I in our blind?
uh, I don't think so.
I'll have to send you that video. It's you could reach up with a butterfly net and you could have caught your 6-man or your 1-man limit in one net.
Oh
Like
man,
they were right on top of us.
and that
Yeah.
was Lake
But
Goose.
Yep, that was
yeah,
like goose.
yep.
There
It
you
was
go.
like the week after duck closed. All these ducks were in the field.
Nice.
Yeah. So that led us to chasing the mallards longer. The other thing is typically we don't get a mallard like population around here that stays. Usually they're here for a couple weeks, and then they pretty well get shot up and they find the refuges, and we're not able to really hunt them again. But for some reason this year they stayed out on the river longer and they stayed into different areas longer, so we're able to like hunt them a little bit more than typically. I don't know if there was just more. I'd heard rumors that like since the other parts of the states were dry, some of the birds had moved towards this flyway, which might lend to it a little bit more. But we did have a higher mallard population, at least in the areas that we hunt, than we did in the past. So
Nice. Yeah, you're never gonna complain about that, right? So
no, I mean it cut into my canvasback days, but we'll deal with that. That was a decision.
yeah, yeah,
There's many decisions at 4 in the morning. I'm getting ready to go out. Am I going to throw the diver spread in and go hunt cans, or am I going to throw the mallards in and go hunt a marsh or something? Like
yeah.
I'm driving to the spot with both spreads in the boat, just like debating which one I want to go do.
Yeah, that's a good problem to have. I'll take that
Mhm.
problem any day of the week. I think for
Yes.
me, man, I'd have to go with the canvasback right now, just because of how. I mean, I've never shot one, so I got to get that off my bucket list. And I know what you guys are gonna say. Just come out there and
Mhm.
it's I can't come out every weekend as much as I'd like to, um, but at some point that's gonna happen. At some point, I'm gonna head out to you guys and knock that one off my bucket list, for sure. But
Mhm.
um,
Did you
I
ever talk to John or not John Devin after his
I
little trip?
I talked to him on the phone afterwards.
So I took him. Hunter had to work that was it Friday, Hunter?
Yeah.
It was a Friday. I took him out, and you would have thought I was showing Devin the promised land because we had so many birds here at that time. Like they weren't working all, but Devin couldn't believe that we were just this is normal. Like how many birds we had on the river. It was kind of funny.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Like I said, we had both record-breaking years, so
Yeah,
not like this every year.
Hunter's trying to do some some PR
Damage
stuff.
control. Yeah.
oh yeah,
Oh,
did you tell him we hunt all the way in the southern, like southwest or southeast corner of Iowa?
you
We're
guys are
right
gonna
next
be
to
on
Arkansas.
Iowa's most hated waterfowl.
You better just go to Arkansas. We're so close to Arkansas. You might as well just go to Arkansas.
Nice,
No.
but
So, I mean, do you have any big takeaways from the year? I know that I'd like text you and ask you that, like in the past, if there's like anything real big that had, changed for the season.
oh man, no, honestly, for me, a lot of people, when I've talked to a lot of people, and there's definitely a handful that say, "Oh, I didn't have a great season," but then I know, quite a few people that did. I feel like it was, um, just pretty steady. I didn't have a big lull like normal, and I think part of that is when I traveled too. Like I hunted locally, and then pretty quick, well, beginning of the season, came out to you guys, and we had an awesome teal season, and then I came back home. Awesome early goose to kick it off there, and then pretty quick after that, I got to traveling. Did my chase in the opener series. Maybe a little bit slower on some of those uh, Michigan trips up there. But then from there, back to you guys in Iowa. That was a cool addition to the trip, doing your guys' central opener, regardless of how close Tim set us up to people. But I should say, in spite of that, the wood. Honestly, I feel like the highlight of that trip was finding the wood duck hole that we hunted 2 days in a row. So for me, that was pretty cool. I know a lot of people don't give wood ducks the same amount of what's the right word, desire as I do. I mean, I love some good wood ducks. Great eaters. They look great. They're fun. I don't want to do it all season, but I want my early season wood ducks. If I didn't have them in a year, I think I would be disappointed. From there, back to our openers, and then straight to North Dakota, and then nice cold front. I got back, had some birds, maybe not like crazy, but yeah, it was overall it was just kind of steady the whole season. Not a whole not a bunch of big bangers or anything like that, but it was just like constant good hunts, and then we ended it solid too. Had some great hunts there with the Kevins up in Michigan. Then late season we had the polar vortex or whatever they want to call them every year. And I mean it's probably the coolest it's ever been, and shooting birds on the river. And then in spite of Chief passing away, and I quit hunting for the year. I didn't hunt the last 6 weeks, and I was still able to pull out a record year. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So as far as the numbers, great. As far as takeaways, yeah, no, it's like keep on keeping on. It's good to have a lot of different spots. It's good to know when to hunt your local spots or when to hit the road when you don't have birds. And I think that's kind of how you can maximize your days. It's like some buddies that I hunt with. They'll always be like, "Oh man, like an hour and a half, that's too far to drive for a duck hunt," But it's like, would you rather get up at 3 a.m. and drive a little further or a lot further, whatever, and then shoot your limit in a couple hours and drive back home, or get up later, hunt, get skunked, sit there for 4 hours, be a little annoyed, come back home, and I don't know. For me, it's like I'll take the travel, and putting a little bit of effort in that way, opposed to just winging it and not having that success. And then there's some people that just decide not to hunt, but that's not me. I'm gonna hunt, so I got to make the most of how I decide to hunt.
Yeah.
Was that a good answer to your question there?
Yeah, that was pretty good. I had a comment about your video you had last week about your best decoy of the year. I'm gonna change your mind on what you decided. I think the best decoying birds of the year were those wood ducks, because wood ducks don't decoy, and whether or not you had your gun loaded doesn't make it not a good decoying bird.
That was actually, I didn't even think of that one, but that little group right there was. I mean, we had what?
I don't
2 dozen,
know. Yeah.
maybe 2 dozen wood ducks, all come in the afternoon too, which is also the crazy part, because typically when I've seen wood ducks in the afternoon, it's like, oh, you get the onesie twosie, kind of them coming in at the evening, last light, but it's like it was like 4 PM, and here comes 2 dozen wood ducks, and they just dove in, fighter jets, just dipping and diving and crossing all around, and I was lined up with like 2 or 3 of them. And
I literally just watched that video again like 2 days ago, and I watched your shot cam footage of you like dead nut on 3 of them. Like you were probably gonna limit out in a shot, and you hear a click.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry to rehash that, but like I was like, man, I rewatched that video like earlier today, and I was like, I think that's got to be pretty high, especially for like wood ducks who people don't claim decoy, and like you can't really hunt them like that.
What did I say was my decoy of the year?
I don't remember.
Okay,
I'm sure it had to be a mallard.
Probably.
Yeah. I think your decoy of the year were the birds on the ice.
Okay.
I think that's what you said.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So,
but
those, I think that the wood ducks could easily have been in there too for the running, even though I didn't say it. It's hard to remember. And then there's another one that I think you mentioned to me over Marco, and it was the retrieve of the year. And I might have to have I'm losing my words here, redaction on that one, because I forgot about Chief's retrieve on the ice where he was breaking the ice, and that was pretty cool too. So,
yeah.
I didn't think of it till now, but man, that could have been some cool questions for you. You guys got a bird of the year. What was the bird of the year for you guys for your season?
I'll start with mine. My bird of the year was my banded wood duck. I mean, that one's got an interesting story behind it. It wasn't as crisp and clean as I would have wished it to be, but like the long short of it is 2 birds came in. Tim picked the front one off. I picked the back one of the 2. It was a drake. Mine ended up being a hen, and it downed like stoned, and we couldn't find it. Sent the dog out, couldn't find it, And after like 30 minutes or so, we ended up getting into a group of mallards, and we downed one in the grass, took the boat to go get that bird. And as we come back, we're sitting in the boat, we look back across, and there's a wood duck floating in the middle of the hole. And I think what happened was I'd always heard rumors of birds going down and like grabbing a reed and then like sticking to the bottom or getting caught up in grass in the bottom. And I think when we drove the boat back across, it caused it to float back up because it was like totally wet and everything. And it was, set the dog after it came back and ended up being banded. So that was a bird that my first banded waterfowl. I shot that banded dove earlier this year, which that's another pretty cool bird. But it was my first banded waterfowl, and it happened to be a wood duck, which is like one of the birds that historically my dad and I like to go out and shoot fairly common. We got a couple of wood duck holes that are always fun to go shoot.
Nice. Yeah, that's definitely a cool story on that, and that's a cool bird to shoot for sure. Banded wood duck. What about you, Tim? What was your favorite band?
Oh, well, actually, I have the greatest banded bird story, but it's from last season, or 2 seasons ago now. It involved me army crawling across an ice shelf to shoot my first banded goose. Um, but as far as favorite bird this year, I finally knocked off a bird that I've been wanting to knock off the list for a while, and it was a specklebelly.
Oh,
So I
nice.
was able down in Oklahoma to get an opportunity to shoot my very first spec, and it was barred up. So
Yeah.
that one is going to the taxidermy to go get hung on the wall. But
Nice.
so that was probably the bird of the year.
Yeah. Let's hear a little bit about your Oklahoma story, because I've kind of heard like bits and pieces, and it sounds like you had a ton of success over there in Oklahoma, and it sounds like maybe Hunter is just maybe like a tad bit bitter about it. But I'm not. What's the whole
Right.
backstory on this?
So backstory on this, these a group that we sometimes, well, you met Bobby, so Bobby's part of the group.
Right.
He's got his own kind of clan, and they had been planning a hunting trip all season. I had told him at the time, hey, can't go, not interested. And then like a couple months during into duck season, in the middle of duck season, I told Bobby, hey, if you have an opening for Oklahoma, I know I'm late. Just let me know if some guy backs out. I'd be interested. Like 2 weeks before they leave, I get a call. Hey, if you can have money to us, you can go. And I was like, all right. So I had the money already set aside. So I was lucky enough and fortunate enough to be able to go to Oklahoma. And I had no idea what I was getting into. I knew Oklahoma had pintails and widgeon, and I didn't know much more. But I've never seen so many geese in my life. Uh, Not just snows. They have snows, specks, lessers. Found out lessers and cacklers are not the same thing. They have both of those down there. Um, yeah, just an unbelievable, like, it's the
Is
best
Oklahoma the
waterfowl.
new Arkansas? Is that what you're trying to say?
For geese, I don't know. There's geese. I mean, where we were located was just unbelievable. We went with All Back Adventures. If you guys have not looked up them, Brad's an awesome guide. He works his tail off, and he put us on some birds, and it was just unbelievable. But yeah, it was a really fun trip. We had a great time. Killed a lot of geese. Got some ducks too. Shot some greenheads. Bobby was able to shoot a pintail, which was really cool. But yeah, I'd never seen geese like that before, and so I was fortunate enough to be able to do I think we did a 4-day hunt down there, and we absolutely just hammered birds for 4 straight days down there. And their
Nice.
limits are ridiculous on birds, just so we're aware. You can only shoot 2 specks, but you get 8 geese,
Oh wow.
Canadians, and then 50 snows. So we shot quite a bit of ammo when we were down there,
Nice.
but it was a really fun trip. And Hunter,
Great way to end the season, right?
it was an awesome end of the season because Hunter and I had kind of gotten in that spot where like he would call me, hey, do you want to go goose hunt today? No, no, I don't. Like I'm good. And then so that was cool to end the season like that. But I don't know. The last 2 weeks before Oklahoma Hunter, I don't think we hunted at all.
No, I
We
don't think
just
so.
we just kind of said, we're good. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a big freeze and lost a lot of the birds, and then like access to like there's a big ice shelf in front of them, and like it was just, I shouldn't say it was dangerous to be out in the boats, but it was, not the most safe thing to go do. And so, you know, when you're already having a gangbuster year, it's kind of hard to justify getting out for them last couple of hunts.
Right. Yeah, I can see that for sure. So, well, you guys have any lessons learned from the season? One of my favorite catchphrases.
I mean, my big lesson for the year would be like, I'm definitely trying to make my setup more mobile for the next year. And I'm investing a lot of time and money into doing that, making it to where I can be able to go where I want to go and not be tied to certain thought processes and just being more open. And so, like, we talked about that in the beginning part of the year, but, like since then, I've gotten a couple more layout boats and got a canoe all rigged up and some other stuff just to where I can go more places. I've always actually had layout boats for marsh hunting, but got rid of them the last couple of years, and now I'm going to get back into it again and just, like I said, try to open up more locations for myself and try not to pigeonhole the thought process nearly as much.
Right. All right, Tim, you're on the spot.
Yeah. Lesson I learned this year is just don't get caught like in your groove, I guess, because we have a really bad habit, or we've had in the past of, well, this is what we've always done, so this is what we're gonna do, type thing. And I think that's what led a lot to our success this year. Is we did a lot of different hunting this year. Usually we just hammer out the first month and a half of the season. We'll just hammer the marshes. That's all we do. And this year we really didn't hunt the marshes that much at all. We were near them, but we weren't in them, and I think that led to a lot of success. Is getting out of our comfort zone a little bit, trying some new stuff. Um, it took a little bit of trust between the both of us because we would both go out and scout and, hey, I found birds over here. I found birds over here. And 90% of our decision making was outside of our comfort zone this year of where we were going to hunt them, I think. And it just ended up working out. So don't be afraid. I mean, don't get comfortable and don't be lazy, I guess, is what it comes down to. Is, yeah, you might kill some birds in the marsh, but there's other opportunities too out there that might require a little bit more work. And if you're willing to put the work in, usually there's a reward.
Awesome. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, like, we have a lot of places around here that are like the old time blind, the blind that I've been going to for 32 years, and I'm going to hunt this same spot every day, regardless of what's going on. And those are the guys that I tend to hear didn't do so well. And then, the more mobile setups tend to have done better.
Yeah, definitely. I think maybe in the past, um, I wasn't around 32 years ago, but I can imagine that 32 years ago, maybe that strategy worked a little bit better than it does now. More hunters, more pressure, and actually, I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I'd have to look at the numbers. I'm gonna have to. I don't want to have to backtrack on that, but just to be safe, I'm not sure. But just from what I've heard, I guess about people hunting in the past, it did seem like you could have those blinds that you went to, and you just went there every weekend. You hear that a lot, like in the southern states, and that's the duck lease, and we're just going to go to that blind, and that's what we got. But I do think it pays off, especially nowadays, to really work for your birds and go after it. So definitely, yeah. So you guys got any closing thoughts on your season, or anything you want to add before we wrap this one up?
I don't know. I think we touched most of the big things. I mean, like I said, it was a great season for us. Hopefully, we have another good one next year. I'm sorry to say, but I kind of hope a lot of places are dry again, so that we continue to have birds come down the Mississippi. I'm sure a lot of people will be mad about that, but we tend to have better years when places are dry. But I don't know. We had a good year. Hopefully, we have a good hatch this spring, and everything works out again for next year.
Yeah, and I will say, well, like you said, a little bit of PR control just so we don't make some Iowa hunters mad. But it's a joke when we're saying Iowa, the new Arkansas. So I'll let you guys say now. What is the new Arkansas? If there is a new Arkansas, which state is it?
Indiana.
Indiana. Okay, there's one vote for Indiana.
The only vote for Indiana. I mean, if you would have asked me like 2 or 3 years ago, I think the secret would have been Kansas. But I think now the whole Kansas secret has been let out of the bag, for lack of a better way to put it.
Right.
And so, I mean, like, I think that like there's a lot of opportunities to be had, like Oklahoma, Texas area now, and like that part of that flyway. If you know where you're going and everything else. I don't know anything about hunting there. I've never hunted there, but you know,
From
like
what
that's
you've
what
heard.
I'm starting to see. Like the people that I know that hunt very, very hard, that used to go to Arkansas, that used to go to Canada, now are going to Oklahoma and Texas.
Nice.
Yeah. So I would argue to say New Mexico is probably going to become the new Arkansas. There's a
Hot
like
take.
there's no
That's a
there's
hot take for sure.
so take the hot take. There's I mean if you look at the migration every year New Mexico's duck numbers continue to go up and up, and they have obviously there's not a ton of hunters there at the moment, but mark my words, New Mexico will be the new Arkansas in the next 3 years.
The next 3 years. All right.
Yep.
That's the hot take. All right. Man, maybe I'm just gonna leave you guys with the take, so I don't get in trouble with anybody. But I make enough jokes about whatever state just for the heck of it. But
Mm-hmm.
all right.
Well, you hunt enough
thanks.
of them.
Yeah. I'll make it to all of them hopefully. But all right, folks. Well, that's all we got for tonight. Thanks again, fellas, for jumping on with me. It was actually pretty fun, kind of laid back, reminiscing about season and hearing, catching up with you guys and hearing a little bit about the hunts you guys went on that, I didn't get to be a part of, but I can still appreciate. So let's go ahead and sign off. I'm Jordan from Duckin' Chronicles, and we got the Iowa boys, Hunter and Tim, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Alrighty. We still got
Hey, by
people
the
over
way-
there in the live stream. Kyle says, where are y'all from? I'm from Indiana. The Iowa boys are from Iowa. Thanks, Zach. Glad to see you in here. It's fun doing it live. I should have probably said it while we're still live, but I think I'm going to try to go over on the Duck Gun Podcast YouTube for these live streams in the future, just to try to grow it a little bit more. I haven't really been over there. So I might start doing that instead of having just the audios posted over there for the people who listen on YouTube. Trying to see if there's any other questions. Jay asked if we had any encounters with birds that we thought had bird flu. The only thing that I had this year was actually in Iowa early season, where we had all those teal that were dead, like tons and tons of them.
I had
was
another
not bird flu, by the way.
What'd you guys say?
Oh, I was gonna say the teal we found out was not the bird flu.
It was not, if we can believe
nope.
what they said.
Yeah, so the DNR said it was a parasite inside the teal that had killed them from eating the snails that were in the mud.
Oh, yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, and the only other run-in that I had with him was we had a pretty big pelican kill-off on a couple of the places that, like...
Kind of wish they would have killed more.
Yeah, that, like, literally, like, white islands with pelican kill-off from the bird flu.
Oh, wow. Yeah. All right, well... I think that's all the questions I see, but thanks everybody who joined in the live stream as well. Like I said, I'll keep doing these throughout the off season for sure when I can, and they'll probably be over on the Duck Gun Podcast page as well. Duck Gun page, the YouTube channel, Duck Gun Podcast YouTube channel. If you guys aren't familiar with that, you can jump over that one too. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and close out this stream. See you guys next week.